On that similar note, in terms of like a contentious like debate nowadays, the concept of Chicano nationalism and self-determination, including ideas like Aztlan, has been very contentious for left spaces. Some view it as a form of settler colonialism, while others see Chicanos as an oppressed nation with indigenous roots. Where do you stand on analyzing Chicano nationalism, and how do you like navigate these particular debates as well? Because it's very similar to the Black Belt thesis, where it seems to be back in the conversation between left organizations and leftist activists as well.
Well, without repeating myself, I would make a similar response that obviously the war of aggression, 1846 to 1848 against Mexico, was an unjust war. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which was supposed to have guaranteed rights on this side of the border for folk of Mexican ancestry, like many treaties negotiated by Washington, it has not been observed. And when you have a treaty that's not observed, it obviously exacerbates tensions. It heightens sensitivities. And I think all of us should be sensitive to the concept of Aztlan. And in fact, you may have noticed that on the program I host on KPFK Los Angeles, commentators oftentimes refer to the Golden State as occupied Mexico to this very day in 2025. But once again, I think that as our revolutionary process matures, that is to say, I think we're in the foothills of the maturation of this revolutionary process. But as it matures, I think we'll gain deeper insight and deeper meaning to the point where we get to London to negotiate a settlement that we may determine, a la Hawaii, that this land should be returned to Mexico. We may determine, I mean, folks have been mentioning, with regard to what I said about Canada, you know that in British Columbia, due north of the state of Washington, they have suggested that the Pacific Coast states join Canada, for example. And I see that as a result of the flux that we're going through right now. The right wing should not have a monopoly upon developing and devising different geographical configurations, like, you know, taking over Canada and making it a 51st state, which I see to be ludicrous, although I think it does open up opportunities for the progressive movement in this country to ally, as we should have been doing already, with our friends across the border, and perhaps pushing a mutual agenda of sanctions against the warmongers in Washington, putting them on the back foot to our mutual advantage. But to return to the thread, once again, I see this question of Mexican-American nationalism, Chicano nationalism, the concept of Aztlan as something worth putting on the table once we get to London.